Imagine this for a moment. You're doing what seems like the responsible thing, showing up for regular checkups, agreeing to tests that are presented as ways to protect your health. After all, isn't that what we're taught throughout life? That catching problems early is always the best approach? But what if, after a certain age, that wisdom doesn't hold true in quite the same way? What if some of the very tests that seem to promise peace of mind actually lead to more harm than help? As we grow older, our bodies naturally change. Some changes are completely normal. Bones may thin slightly, memory may not be quite as sharp, we may feel tired sooner than we used to. These are part of life's rhythm and not always signs of disease. Yet the medical system sometimes treats every change as a problem to be diagnosed and fixed, leading older adults into a maze of tests, procedures, and treatments that can sap energy, create worry, and sometimes leave people worse off than before. Take, for example, a simple scan that many seniors are offered, a bone density test. It's a harmless procedure on the surface, a quick scan that checks how strong your bones are. The intention is good, to identify osteoporosis and prevent fractures. But the truth is that past a certain age, nearly everyone's scan will show some loss of density. This is just a part of getting older, like wrinkles and gray hair. What happens next is where the problems begin. The scan result may alarm both the patient and the clinician, leading to prescriptions for medications meant to strengthen bones. But these medications can come with their own set of problems, side effects that include painful heartburn, damage to the esophagus, and even rare but serious conditions where parts of the jawbone begin to deteriorate. More importantly, studies have shown that these drugs often do little to actually reduce fracture risk in people over 70 who are otherwise healthy and active. In many cases, lifestyle adjustments offer far better results without the risks. Eating a calcium-rich diet, getting enough vitamin D, engaging in gentle strength training exercises, and improving balance through stretching or Tai Chi can significantly reduce fracture risk by more than 20%, according to some studies. These simple, low-risk approaches honor the natural changes in the body without rushing into medicalized interventions that may not help and could even harm. Then there's the issue of memory. As the years pass, it's normal to occasionally forget names or misplace items. For many older adults, this sparks a deep fear of dementia. In response, some are sent for a brain scan, an MRI, to check things out. But what many don't realize is that almost everyone over 70 will show some changes on an MRI that look abnormal, even if they're perfectly healthy. White spots, minor shrinkage, and other findings are part of normal brain aging. These incidental findings can spark unnecessary worry and often lead to more tests, sometimes even invasive procedures like spinal taps or biopsies, all without actually helping memory. Often what's needed is reassurance, not scanning. Simple habits, getting good sleep, staying socially engaged, drinking enough water, challenging the mind with puzzles or reading, do far more to protect memory than an MRI scan ever could. For those who are truly struggling with significant memory loss, a brief paper-based cognitive test can provide clarity without the risks or expense of a scan. Another test that frequently causes unnecessary worry and harm is the cardiac stress test. For people who don't have clear signs of heart trouble, like chest pain or shortness of breath during activity, these tests often lead to false positives. That means the test suggests there's a problem when there really isn't. And what happens after a false positive? More tests, more procedures, sometimes even heart surgeries that carry serious risks, including complications from anesthesia, bleeding, infection, and prolonged recovery times. Imagine being told your heart is at risk when all you really needed was more hydration or a change in activity patterns. For many seniors, simple approaches, monitoring how they feel during everyday activities, ensuring good hydration and nutrition, and maintaining moderate, enjoyable physical activity offer the best guide to heart health. If there's a true concern, safer and simpler tests like a resting EKG can provide useful information without pushing someone down a path toward unnecessary interventions. One of the most surprising areas where harm can arise is in colon cancer screening. For decades, the colonoscopy has been promoted as a vital tool for early detection. And in middle age, that's often true. But after a certain age, especially after 75, the picture changes. The preparation for a colonoscopy is hard on the body, often causing dehydration and dizziness. The sedation used during the procedure can pose risks to the aging brain, and the procedure itself can cause complications like bleeding or even tears in the bowel wall. Moreover, many polyps found during colonoscopies in older adults are small, slow-growing, and unlikely to ever cause harm. Removing them may not provide a meaningful benefit but does carry the risk of complications. Less invasive alternatives now exist, simple stool tests that can be done at home without the need for fasting, laxatives, or sedation. These tests catch most serious issues without exposing people to the risks of an invasive procedure. Perhaps the most troubling of all are the full-body scans sometimes offered as part of executive health packages or high-end wellness checkups. These scans promise to catch cancer and other diseases early, but they come at a steep cost, not just financially, but in terms of health risks. A single full-body CT scan can expose the body to as much radiation as hundreds of chest X-rays. Radiation exposure accumulates over time and is itself a known cancer risk. What's more, these scans frequently find benign abnormalities, small nodules, cysts, and spots that are perfectly harmless but become sources of worry and led to further tests, biopsies, and sometimes surgeries that were never needed. The irony is painful. A test intended to protect you from illness can itself become the cause of illness, leading to complications that may have been avoided altogether. All of this raises an important question. What does it mean to care for your health after 70? Perhaps the most important lesson is that health is not simply the absence of disease or the result of an endless series of tests. True health is about how you feel in your day-to-day life, your energy, your ability to do the things you love, your connection to friends and family, your peace of mind. It's about finding balance, honoring the natural changes that come with aging without turning every wrinkle, ache, or forgotten name into a medical problem. It's about trusting your body's signals and recognizing when a test is truly needed and when it may simply introduce worry and harm. For many older adults, focusing on daily habits, like moving gently but often, eating nutritious meals, getting enough rest, staying engaged with others, and finding joy in simple pleasures, can do far more to support well-being than another round of scans and tests. It's worth remembering that you are the expert in your own life. You know your rhythms, your strengths, your challenges better than anyone else. When faced with the suggestion of a test, it's perfectly reasonable to ask thoughtful questions. What are the risks? What will we do with the results? Will this test improve my quality of life? And if the answers aren't clear or reassuring, it may be wise to step back and choose a different path. There's no shame in saying no to a test that doesn't feel right for you, and there's strength in choosing to focus on what truly matters, living each day with intention, maintaining your independence, nurturing your well-being, and finding satisfaction in the small joys of life. It's worth taking a step back and remembering that aging is a natural process. Our bodies evolve, and along the way, small changes appear that aren't necessarily signs of trouble, but simply part of living a long life. The occasional sore joint, needing a bit more rest after a busy day, or even forgetting why you walked into a room for a moment, These things are common and don't always require testing, scanning, or intervention. Instead, they often require patience, self-compassion, and care for daily routines that nourish both body and mind. In a world where we're bombarded with reminders to check, scan, and screen, it's easy to believe that being a responsible older adult means signing up for every test offered. But the truth is, the wisest care sometimes means recognizing when enough is enough. By the time we reach our 70s and beyond, the likelihood that these routine screenings will change our lives for the better often shrinks. Meanwhile, the chance that they may cause confusion, worry, or harm rises. This doesn't mean tests have no place at all. Of course, if you develop worrisome new symptoms, chest pain while walking, unexplained weight loss, persistent bleeding, a significant change in your ability to think clearly or care for yourself, it's sensible to seek care promptly. But when it comes to regular screenings done out of habit rather than because of symptoms, a different conversation is needed. Every test, no matter how routine it may seem, carries three important questions. What might this test find? What happens if it finds something? And how will that information help me live a better life? If a test is unlikely to uncover anything meaningful, or if the next steps after that test are invasive, risky, or unlikely to help, then skipping the test can itself be a healthy choice. The beautiful thing about this approach is that it returns attention to what truly matters: how you feel today, how well you're moving through your world, how much joy you're finding in the people and activities you love. Health is not a perfect set of numbers or test results. Health is about living well and fully, as comfortably and happily as possible, for as long as possible. Think of all the small but powerful things that support health that don't require a clinic or laboratory. A pleasant walk outdoors strengthens bones and supports the heart, stimulates memory and mood, and encourages good sleep. Simple balance exercises done at home, holding onto the back of a chair, or using a sturdy countertop for support can help prevent falls better than any scan or medication. Preparing and enjoying meals made from fresh ingredients, vegetables, fruits, whole grains, nuts, fish, and healthy oils nurtures every system of the body and adds pleasure to daily life. Equally important is staying mentally and emotionally engaged. Regular conversations, laughter, reading, music, puzzles, learning something new, all these activities help protect thinking skills and reduce feelings of loneliness or isolation, which themselves can affect health. These are things that nurture wellness without introducing risks, costs, or worry. When it comes to sleep, gentle routines that support rest are far more helpful than any scan or test could ever be. Keeping a regular bedtime, winding down with quiet activities in the evening, limiting heavy meals or caffeine late in the day, and creating a peaceful sleeping space can improve sleep naturally. Restful sleep supports memory, mood, and physical well-being in ways no machine can replicate. For digestion and bone strength, staying hydrated is simple and powerful. Drinking water throughout the day, even when not thirsty, helps keep the digestive system moving smoothly and reduces the risk of falls or confusion due to mild dehydration. Adding fiber-rich foods like fruits, vegetables, and whole grains helps maintain regularity without the need for aggressive bowel preparations like those required for procedures such as colonoscopies. And while these healthy habits support the body, they also support peace of mind. One of the quiet harms of unnecessary testing is the way it can introduce fear where none was present before. Hearing that a scan showed a spot or abnormality, even when it turns out to mean nothing, can cause weeks or months of worry. That anxiety itself can affect sleep, appetite, and mood, leading to a cascade of unnecessary interventions that may reduce, rather than enhance, quality of life.